I wanted to I had to talk to my neighbor Wayne again. And I'm playing my peaceful music so I don't have to listen to you doing this, and you're interrupting my music, calling my phone. Please leave me alone.
You told me you never ignore me.
Stop fucking with me! Leave me alone! Leave me alone! Please! Leave me alone! Please! Please leave me alone! I don't want to have sex with you! I don't want to have sex! So stop! I really trust myself! I don't want to have sex with you! Okay? Okay? Thank you!
With an update to a breaking story we have been following the last few hours out of Eastpointe, where police say an employee stabbing her own manager to death. This all happening inside a McDonald's on 9 Mile.
Then one day she coming in there talking about some yeah, I broke my door in half and I had to pull my gun out on my kids and this and that. Well, you know, telling us that like the fuck you telling us you pulled a gun out on your kids for? You sound like a fucking psychopath. That's what I wanted to tell her. She was talking about some she blacked out. I'm like, yeah, you must have had blacked out if you pulled the gun out on your kids. Like, you know, like I'm like, what the fuck you telling me this for? Like then she's like trying to make it seem like that she big dog or some shit. Give a fuck about you telling me about you pulling the gun out on a kid. I don't fucking like that shit doesn't scare me. You know what I mean? That shit doesn't scare me. If she thought she was trying to intimidate me, that shit didn't intimidate me at all. I don't give a fuck about her telling me about what the fuck she did. You know, and maybe that's why they always fighting her, to defend themselves. They probably felt like their life was threatened. The fuck out of here with that shit. I got sent home early yesterday. I got sent home early today by the same person. I'm telling you, she's a bully. This shit isn't funny. She needs to understand that just because she's a mother and got children doesn't mean that she can come in this store, you know, disrespecting people, talking to them like everybody's beneath her. She has no respect. And it isn't funny at all. Like, seriously, man, I got shit I gotta take care of. And she keeps sending me home early. It's not funny. She's playing games. And then all day, throughout the day, she keeps sending her little racial shit. And then throughout the day, she keeps on, like, putting negative energy in the air, talking about people, gossiping about people. It's not funny, man. That shit gonna have to stop. She's a bully. I'm telling you. She's a bully. She brings a lot of negative energy in there. She always panic when there's a lot going on. And then she try to manipulate that and make it seem like we ain't doing something right. But we are working really hard and doing great. It's just the fact that she panicked. And I caught her a few times making a mistake. And she tried to hurry up and play it off. You know, nobody's perfect. It's fucking McDonald's. It happens. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes, like, somebody might get confused. So fuck, it gets busy, yeah. But she needs to stop playing like she don't be making mistakes. I be catching her. So all that animosity and shit that she keep putting in the air and stuff, then trying to tell me, I'm always snapping on people. No, that's false. No, I don't snap on people. I don't go in there doing that. I tell her, no, I make peace. That's what I'm doing. I've been creating peace. So all that negative energy that she's bringing in there and trying to manipulate it, no, that's going to stop. All that negative shit she's saying about, you know, her personal life, all of that. No, she's bringing all of that in there and then playing games saying she want to take her belt off and beat somebody. Y'all act like my kids in here. No, we ain't your kids.
Respect us. Stop talking to us like that. That shit is crazy. I'm telling you. But to get sent home 2 days in a row, man, and I came in on my off day to make up my time, and she still sends me home early, it's not funny. Somebody gonna have to do something about that. It's not funny. It's not fair. It isn't funny at all. So, you know, she could keep being a bully if she wants to, but that shit is going to catch up to her. Because it ain't funny at all. It ain't.
Eastpointe, Michigan, a place where mornings usually start with coffee runs, kids heading to school, and workers clocking in at their jobs. For 39-year-old Jennifer Harris, that routine meant stepping into her role as a manager at the local McDonald's. She wasn't just any employee, she was a mother of 6, the kind of woman who carried the weight of her family on her shoulders while still showing up with a smile for her team. But on the morning of July 10th, 2025, what should have been another ordinary shift turned into something no one inside that restaurant will ever forget. Within minutes, Jennifer was brutally attacked, not by a stranger on the street, but by someone who worked right beside her, a coworker she knew. A co-worker she trusted enough to share the same space with every day. 15 stab wounds, in front of customers, in front of staff, in front of people who could only watch in horror. And the most heartbreaking part? Just before it happened, Jennifer had told that co-worker to go home. She thought she was diffusing tension. Instead, she was signing her own death sentence. She was sent home that morning, but instead she was sent home to die. Before we move forward, tell me, what city or country are you watching from?
Jennifer Harris wasn't just another name on a payroll. At 39 years old, she was a mother of 6, a woman balancing the heavy responsibilities of family and work. Those who knew her described her as dependable, someone who worked long hours to provide for her children. She wasn't wealthy, she wasn't famous, she was the kind of person who held her family together through sheer determination. Her job as a manager at McDonald's in Eastpointe, Michigan, may not have carried prestige, but it carried weight. It meant stability. It meant food on the table for her children. And it meant being a role model for her staff. She was respected, not because she demanded it, but because she earned it, day after day, shift after shift. McDonald's itself is supposed to be one of the safest, most ordinary places. It's where people grab their morning coffee, where parents bring kids for Happy Meals, where teens pick up after-school jobs. For the community of Eastpointe, this restaurant was just that, a predictable stop in the rhythm of daily life. But what happened inside on July 10th shattered that sense of safety. The building that had once been a familiar gathering spot was suddenly transformed into the scene of one of the most violent acts the city had witnessed in years. A mother of 6 walked in for another shift. She would never walk back out.
My mama was a good person. She was the best mom anybody could ever ask for. My mama, she woke up every day and went to work for us. My mama died trying to take care of us.
That July morning in Eastpointe, tensions inside the McDonald's weren't obvious to customers walking in for their Egg McMuffins. But behind the counter, there was friction. Jennifer Harris, as manager, was responsible for keeping order, and that meant making tough calls when staff members couldn't. One of those staff members was 26-year-old Afeni Muhammad. She wasn't just another employee. That morning, she had clashed with coworkers, and the atmosphere had grown tense. Jennifer stepped in, exercising the authority expected of her role, and told Afeni to clock out and go home. For most people, that would have been the end of it, but not for Afeni. Being sent home should have diffused the situation. Instead, it lit a fuse. The decision didn't just bruise her pride, it ignited something far more dangerous. Witnesses would later describe the look on her face, the way she left the restaurant unwilling to let the morning end on Jennifer's terms. Anger can linger. And in Afeni's case, it didn't fade, it built. She didn't go home quietly. She didn't brush it off as just another bad day at work. Instead, that frustration began to grow into something darker, something that would turn an ordinary workplace dispute into a scene of unimaginable violence. Jennifer had done what managers are trained to do, de-escalate. But in trying to protect her team, she unknowingly placed herself in the crosshairs of a storm that was only just beginning. It was supposed to be over. Jennifer Harris had sent Afeni Muhammad home, and the restaurant should have gone back to its normal morning rhythm. Customers at the counter, orders called out, fries sizzling in the background. But instead of leaving quietly, Afeni returned. And when she walked back inside, she wasn't empty-handed. In an instant, the ordinary hum of a McDonald's dining room turned into chaos. Afeni charged toward Jennifer with a knife, and before anyone could process what was happening, the attack began. Witnesses would later recall the sheer speed of it, the way Afeni lashed out with relentless force, stabbing Jennifer again and again, not once, not twice, but 15 times. The horror spread through the room. Customers screamed, employees scrambled for safety. Some froze, unable to move, while others desperately tried to call for help. The sound of chaos filled the restaurant, shouts, sobs, panic. Jennifer, a mother of 6 who had only come to work that morning to support her family, was trapped in a nightmare no one could have imagined inside a fast food restaurant. Within minutes, Eastpointe police and paramedics rushed to the scene. Emergency responders fought to save Jennifer's life, but the brutal injuries were overwhelming. The McDonald's, once a symbol of routine and comfort for the community, had become the site of an unthinkable act of violence. For those who witnessed it, the memory would never fade. Ordinary people stopping in for breakfast suddenly found themselves standing in the middle of a crime scene they could never have prepared for. And it raises a difficult question. If you had been there, if you had seen someone's life threatened right in front of you, how would you have reacted? Would you freeze, flee, or try to fight back? Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
Jennifer Harris's life could not be saved. Despite the desperate efforts of first responders, the injuries she sustained were far too severe. At just 39 years old, her story ended in the very place she had managed with pride and dedication. The news spread quickly across Eastpointe. For Jennifer's 6 children, the loss was unbearable, sudden, violent, and impossible to make sense of. She wasn't just their mother. She was their anchor, the person who worked long hours at McDonald's to make sure they had stability and care. Her absence left a hole that could never truly be filled. Coworkers, still reeling from the shock of witnessing the attack, struggled to come to terms with what they had seen. For them, Jennifer had been more than a manager. She was a mentor, a leader, and a source of comfort during stressful shifts. The restaurant they once considered a second home now felt heavy with grief. The Eastpointe community at large was shaken. A McDonald's, a place so ordinary and routine, had been transformed into the backdrop of a nightmare. Candles and flowers soon appeared outside the restaurant as neighbors came together to honor Jennifer's memory and support her children. Meanwhile, police wasted no time. Afeni Muhammad was arrested and taken into custody, facing the full weight of the law. What had started as a workplace conflict had ended in tragedy, and Eastpointe was left asking how something so senseless could have happened in broad daylight.
Jennifer Harris's story is a heartbreaking reminder of how fragile life really is. One moment, she was managing a normal morning at McDonald's. The next, everything changed forever. What should have been just another shift ended in an unimaginable loss for her children, her coworkers, and her community. It also raises uncomfortable but necessary questions about workplace tensions. Too often, small conflicts are brushed aside or ignored until they grow into something no one can control. In this case, a decision as simple as sending an employee home turned into a deadly confrontation. It forces us to think, what more can be done to recognize when anger or instability is boiling beneath the surface? And here's where I want to hear from you. What do you think workplaces can do to prevent tragedies like this from happening again? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Jennifer Harris was more than a McDonald's manager. She was a devoted mother, a respected coworker, and a beloved part of Eastpointe. Her life was cut short in a way no one should ever have to face. She wasn't just sent home from work that day, she was sent home to die. May her memory live on through her children, her community, and the lessons her story leaves behind. If you found this story important, subscribe for more true crime stories we cover every week. And let's never forget the real lives behind these tragedies.
My mama was a good person. She was the best mom anybody could ever ask for. My mama, she woke up every day and went to work for us. My mama died trying to take care of us. She died. My God. She was so good to everybody. A hardworking woman. So kind. If anybody needed help, she would give you her last. Give you the shirt off her back. She did not deserve that at all.
How many kids does your mom?
6. All 6 of us. Me and my
5
siblings.
girls and 1 boy.
My brother.
And she's aware that she took us from her.
We met everybody at McDonald's, my mama always shared with everybody that she loved her kids, showed them pictures of us. We would come up here. We met her coworkers. We met the lady and everything. I don't understand why she had to kill her. It was not fair. My mama didn't deserve that. My mama was even good to her. She was good to everybody. Everybody. I hate that she had to die alone in there. I hate that she had woke up trying to make money for me and my siblings and had to pass away just trying to work for us. It's not fair. It's not fair.
And you run from taking this woman away from her children, my sister. That is just sad.
You met us. You
met
saw all of us in there playing in there. You gave us stickers. You came and introduced yourself to us. Why take our mama from us? You knew we loved each other. You knew she was all that we had. No.
How old was your mom, if I could ask?
She was 39.
So she's young.
Very young.
Single mother. Single. Our dad is incarcerated. So now we only got our aunties and my pastor. My mama is gone.
All right. Previous Court of 9 session. I'm with Captain Davis presiding.
You may be seated. Good afternoon, everyone. Detective Showers, please approach to the swear-to. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear that the information being provided is true and accurate to the best of your information, knowledge, and belief, subject to penalties of perjury?
I do.
Put your hand down. With regard to the defendant, Afeni Muhammad, please set forth the factual basis for the warrant request.
Yes, Your Honor. On 7/10/25, McDonald's employee Afeni Muhammad stabbed McDonald's manager Jennifer Harris multiple times with a kitchen knife at the McDonald's restaurant at 179219 Mile. Harris was not armed at the time and died of her injuries. Prior to the stabbing, Muhammad was sent home by Harris for not performing her work duties and told Harris, "I'll be back." Muhammad was arrested on scene and the knife was recovered. Muhammad admitted that she intended to kill Harris and stated that after she was sent home, she drove to a nearby park, decided to come back and stab Harris with a knife that she had inside of her vehicle. When Muhammad returned to stab Harris, she entered the back entrance with a hooded mask over her face in an attempt to conceal her identity and attempted to flee the scene after the stabbing, but was stopped by an armed customer.
And the requested charges are murder in the first degree, count 2, dangerous weapon carrying with unlawful intent, and there's a habitual second notice offense. Is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
The warrant is being signed and we can proceed to arraignment.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Calling file number 25354, People versus Afeni Muhammad. Counsel appearances for the record, please.
After Your Honor, Sean Hayes on behalf of the people.
Thank you very much, Jennifer. Please, this honorable court, may I have contact on behalf of Mrs. Muhammad, who does appear to be assumed.
Your name, please, ma'am?
Afeni Muhammad.
Very good. You're here today for arraignment on the charges of murder in the first degree, premeditated, count 2, carrying a weapon with unlawful intent, and a habitual second notice. Mr. Licata, how does your client wish to proceed?
Thank you very much, Your Honor. At this time, my client is asking the court to enter a not guilty plea. This matter set for a probable cause conference in the preliminary exam. I have advised my client of her rights, as well as the charges against her and the potential penalties, and we are ready to proceed on those grounds.
Very good. Ma'am, do you understand the nature of the charges against you to your satisfaction after talking to your attorney?
Yes.
Very good. I will go ahead and enter a not guilty plea on your behalf. Are you requesting a court-appointed attorney?
Yes.
I will appoint an attorney to represent you. We'll set this matter for a probable cause conference on July 23rd, 2025 at 1 p.m. The preliminary examination will be on July 30th, 2025 at 1 p.m. As to bond, Mr. Licata.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. Just briefly, my client is 26 years old, does live in the great city of Eastpointe. Your Honor, my client is a high school graduate. In fact, is actually taking and was taking some online classes for college for a physical therapy degree. Your Honor, there are some disturbing facts in this particular matter, but there are facts that haven't been brought out yet, and my client is extremely anxious to have those facts brought to light during the pendency of this case. She was in an extremely abusive relationship that was not only mental but physical, that involved alcohol issues, which is where the habitual second stems from, and her prior record. Your Honor, my client is a helpful person. She's a giving person. She's actually is credited with saving a life because of a 60-year-old who had skin cancer that she may go to the doctor to find out that that's exactly what it was, and that person is doing extremely well right now. I understand the facts that have been laid out today in the warrant, but at this time, Your Honor, we are asking the court to consider a bond in this matter that is appropriate, that my client can meet so that she can meet with her attorneys and prepare her for defense in this matter. Thank you.
Thank you. On behalf of the people?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Pursuant to court rule, the court is well within its authority to grant no bond involving any case involving murder. In this case, we are requesting no bond for this defendant. Also provided within the court rules are certain factors for this court to consider when determining whether to grant any bond at all, and in this case, we are requesting no bond as I indicate. First of all, the court can consider whether or not this defendant is a threat to the community. She entered a public building with other individuals, other employees that were present. She produced a weapon that was a knife longer than 3 inches, and she stabbed the victim multiple times, up to possibly as many as 15 times, eventually causing her death. There were other employees that were present at the time, some of which attempted to help the victim after the stabbing occurred. That alone is enough to show that there is a threat to the community. She then ran from the building to her vehicle, presumably with the intent to flee from the scene. She was stopped by a helpful bystander. You're also able to consider the likelihood of conviction in this case, given the facts as laid out by Detective Showers and the information that the prosecutors have reviewed in order to charge this defendant. There is a very high likelihood of conviction. And then finally, the defendant does have a prior instance of at least one that I'm aware that involved a stabbing, similar obviously to the stabbing that occurred in this case involving a knife. So given all of those factors, and given the fact that this court does have authority to give no bond to defendants charged with murder, I am asking at this time for no bond in this case.
Thank you, counsel. The court has reviewed the charges and the circumstances surrounding this case. The defendant is facing various serious charges, including murder in the first degree, which is one of the most serious criminal offenses in our state, carrying penalties up to life without parole. Additionally, carrying a dangerous weapon with unlawful intent further underscores defendant's potential threat to public safety. Defendant has a prior criminal record out of Virginia for malicious wounding. It was actually felony malicious wounding that was reduced to unlawful bodily injury concerning a stabbing, and that is what gives rise to the habitual second. And in determining bond, the court must look to the factors outlined in Michigan Court Rule 6.106. Number 1, the seriousness of the offense and the danger posed to the community. The charges here involved a violent crime with a weapon, indicating a substantial risk to the public. The court finds there is a significant threat to public safety, and therefore the bond must reflect that risk. Number 2, the weight of the evidence against the defendant. While the evidence is not fully before us and the defendant is cloaked with the presumption of innocence, the nature of the charges along with the prior criminal history suggests that there is substantial evidence against the defendant. Defendant's criminal history: the defendant has a violent criminal past. The history supports the court's concern that the defendant may engage in further violent conduct if she is released. The defendant's ties to the community: while the defendant is relatively young at 26 years of age, there's no indication that she has any significant stabilizing ties to the community that would ensure her return for court appearances. Without these ties, the court is concerned about the likelihood of flight. Number 5, defendant's risk of fleeing or failing to appear. Due to the severity of the charges and the habitual offender status, it makes the defendant a high risk for flight. The court finds that this factor weighs heavily in favor of a high bond amount. Substance abuse or mental treatment, although there are no reports at this time suggesting that the defendant suffers from mental health or substance abuse issues that would mitigate the risks posed by defendant's release, the court is, after considering all of these factors, going to be setting bond at $25 million cash surety only with conditions. If the defendant is able to meet those conditions, she must be on a GPS steel cuff tether. She is not to leave the state of Michigan. She is to report her address within 24 hours of, she must report any change of address within